Welcome back to the Go Harper YouTube channel. Today, we're going to go over the build out in our 28-foot by 8.5-foot Spartan go-kart trailer, as well as give you a preview of the loadout in here. This trailer was found on Facebook Marketplace for $2,500. That might sound like a deal, but it did not look like this. When we picked it up, there was extensive damage, both from its use and from people trying to break into it. We ended up replacing all of these panels back to this one. This is the first existing panel on this side of the trailer from here on back. These panels are 49 inches wide. That's important because when we pulled them off and planned to replace them, I thought I'd be able to find them locally. I could have got 48-inch panels, but these 49-inch panels are specific to trailer construction. So we actually contacted Spartan Trailer in Alma, Georgia, and were able to get the original style panels in the same color. You really can't even tell the difference. And we drove over there and picked those up, and actually they were cheaper than anywhere I could have found them local. I don't have a lot of video of the construction of this trailer, but we do have some pictures, so we'll share them as we move through this process and show you how we went from what we picked up to what you see now. When we picked up this trailer, we knew we'd have to replace a lot of the panels of the skin in this trailer. What we didn't realize, and we didn't realize until we actually got the old damaged skin off, was a lot of the frame for the body of the trailer, not the trailer frame itself, but the supports that hold on this box were also bent, likely from being the trailer turning into some immovable object. So the first thing we had to do once we got the skin off was actually to straighten those members of the frame for this box. We actually had to remove all the wood from the inside of the trailer to do that as well. Once we got that removed, we used some clamps and some 2x4s to pull those members straight. Actually worked out well. We didn't have to replace a single one of them, and I was quite surprised. Once we got the frame of the box straightened back up, we were able to put these wooden panels back on here. We also trimmed them out to make it a little nicer and ultimately painted this color. This paint has been in here for a year now. We've used the heck out of this trailer, so it's pretty beat up. I plan on probably repainting it maybe once every year, at least every couple of years. Once we got the wood on the inside, we were able to start putting the skin back on the outside. One of the things I knew I wanted to build in this trailer was this wall. This wall separates the workshop area in the front of the trailer from the storage area in the back of the trailer. And this is where we keep the things that we use outside the trailer, like the carts, the rugs, the tents, the cart stands, the tables. And then up there are the tools we use to work on the cart, things that we want to keep a little bit more clean. This really makes this trailer feel like it was purpose built for our use for karting and not just a cargo trailer like every other one you might find on a lot. I do want to say, you don't need all these things to go karting. The really great thing about dirt oval kart racing is that the guy who shows up with the kart in the back of his truck has just as good a chance as winning as the guy who shows up with all the tools in his trailer. It's really about getting your kart set up, getting experience, and getting time in the seat. These are things that we've collected our entire lives and most recently brought them into this kart trailer to use when we go karting. It takes a long time. We could not have afforded to buy all these things at once. We didn't buy an expensive trailer. We worked hard to build what we have, and it works great for us for now. You should do the same thing. Work within your means, get what you can, and get out there and start having fun. In addition to buying the trailer and replacing the skin on the outside, there are a few other things we needed to do to make sure this trailer was safe. One, we replaced all 4 tires. They were old. We were traveling some significant distances in this trailer, and we wanted to make sure that those weren't going to explode on us. These aren't the nicest tires for now. These are a set that we got off of Amazon, but they do the job. We keep an eye on them and eventually replace them with some nicer tires. You may have also seen in one of our other videos where the bracket that holds up our leaf springs broke. So we have now replaced the leaf springs on both axles on both sides. Let's take a second and talk about our graphics. We have no financial connection. We're not sponsored by 593 Motorsports. This is the local track that we race on. We don't have any sponsors, but it's important for us to make sure our local track is successful because the more people that come out there, the more competition we have, the more fun we have, and it survives and thrives, and we get to continue kart racing. So we have these logos on the side of our trailer so that we can show all of the people in our community where we race and hopefully build interest for kart racing there. As we work our way around and through the trailer, I'll share links of where we purchase the items that we use. In a lot of cases, we got them off of Facebook Marketplace, but we can link to similar items so you can find them for yourself. But please search on Facebook Marketplace, find the deals you can. Know that in the links below, some of those are affiliate links, so we may earn a commission if you purchase using those links, but it'll be at no additional cost to you. All right, now let's show you what it looks like with the carts loaded up and how we transport those. The carts are on stands that we fabricated ourselves, thanks to my brother-in-law for welding that stuff together. And they're held in place using ratchet straps, which are in E-Tracks that we bought from Harbor Freight, along with all the accessories that go in the E-Tracks. So cart sits on the cart, gets pushed in the trailer, and then we try to wrap the ratchet straps around both the cart and the cart before ratcheting it down to the E-Tracks. We've driven hundreds of miles with these in here now on these racks, and everything's been fine. I actually need to build a couple more. Right now, we just have 2 other racks, and if we're bringing any more carts like the other box stock that I've been running or my Champ cart right now, those are just on the ground back there. But the advantage of having them on these cart racks is that with them on the cart racks, they can sit on top of the wheel wells in the trailer, because the trailer isn't quite wide enough for 2 carts to fit side by side between the wheel wells. So with them on these racks, we can fit 2 of them side by side, like you can see behind me, which we couldn't do otherwise. Here's a shot of the racks we built. They do need to be sandblasted and powder coated or painted. Right now, they're just a little bit rusty. We're going to get through the season like this before we go ahead and get them cleaned up. But just some square tubing that we welded together and some casters from Harbor Freight that we have welded on the bottom. I'll link those below. And then just some supports with some angles to help give it some rigidity. Actually ordered this all from Metal Supermarket. They cut those little gussets as well. I was able to pick that all up, and then it was longer lengths of the square tube that we cut the length to fit our needs. And the ones under the mini wedge, of course, are a little different than the ones that are under the flat carts. They're slightly different sizes and dimensions, so we've made them each custom to each cart. Here's a shot of the full-length E-Track that we use on the sides and the clips that we put in there to hold the carts down. This is the little single, or I guess double, E-Track piece we got from Harbor Freight. So this is in the middle between the 2 carts. We don't need a full E-Track here. We're basically going to buckle it down the same spot every time, and it's a little bit less of a trip hazard. Welcome to the Trailer Workshop. As we mentioned earlier, this is a Vinos trailer. Really helped out here when we built this bench. So the bench reaches up into the V-nose. That gives us, it doesn't look like a lot, but just that extra space where we have these shelves, where we have the racks to hold our tools, made a huge difference. The shelf certainly wasn't here. When we got the trailer, you saw the pictures, it was all stripped out. So we built the shelf, we built the smaller shelves up there, the bench, all the tool racks were installed by us, and we've got everything we need in here, not just for the track, but also to work on our carts at home. So we don't have to pull things in and out of the trailer. I don't need a separate workshop. This is actually also where I do all the editing for these videos. So it's a nice place for everything to be that we need. All we have to do to bring it anywhere is hitch it up to the truck and roll out. So I'll give a tour of all the different parts of the trailer here, and we can take a closer look. So we, like I said, we built this workbench. The workbench has the liner for toolbox drawer on top of it so things don't slide around when we're driving. As you see it now is exactly how we drove here, minus my coffee cup. Everything stays in place really well. And we thought about that when we built it. Built lips on all the shelves here. We have all of our fluids right in front of us. We have all of our wrenches in front of us, all the screwdrivers we might need. We, in another episode, showed you these wrench holders that we put up here. These all come off so that we can bring these outside when we're working on the carts at the track or anywhere else we might need to bring them, but they're all accessible anywhere. And then we just pop them back on there. Those ride just like that. Tool racks for our power tools, our Allen wrenches, small wrenches, right where we can get to them. And then down here, we've just got a lot of stuff we use all the time, either at the track or working on equipment. We have a battery operated air compressor. That's a Hart brand. That actually came from Facebook Marketplace, like a lot of other things we have, but it's the brand you buy at Walmart. our angle grinder. These are all of our nuts and bolts and screws. This is our Starlink, so we have internet at the track. We use that for hanging out in the trailer, watching football games during football season on the TV, but also we hook the computer up at the track to it when we're doing registrations via My Race Pass and monitoring the race and scoring the race. I have space for 3 extra engines over here. Right now, I just have this one 236 that actually needs to go over to my engine builder, who happens to be my dad, so he can tear it down and rebuild it. Down at the bottom, we've got a lot of other stuff that we use a lot. We've got a drone. We've got just a box of miscellaneous trailer parts. We've got our scales. We'll do a whole other video on how we scale the cart using cheap scales from Walmart. We have a battery-operated little shop vac. We have containers for our food utensils for when we're cooking, and as well as a container full of toys for Harper and her friends to play with. Going across the bottom here, some of this is still a work in progress so that we can make the organization a little better. But right now, we just have a spare engine sitting there. We have our grill here, our griddle that we use when we're at the tracks, and our propane tank. And then we have a whole garbage can full of folding chairs that we use. We've mounted all of our battery chargers to the wall here. They're up and out of the way. They can also hold the batteries when we're traveling. These motorcycle stands come in handy a lot. These are Harbor Freight motorcycle stands. We can just use them to pick up the backside of a cart if we need to work on something really quick to get it off the ground, put it back down without having to lift the whole cart onto a cart stand. The helmets for me, Harper, and Nugget are right here, really accessible. And then we keep all our gloves in this bag right here. We even have a little bit of a wardrobe that we built in here where we can hang up all of our race suits and keep them out of the way and keep them as clean as you can at the track. And then we just pull them off when we get home and we can wash them. Over in this corner, we have our toolbox, another Facebook Marketplace find. It's full of tools that we use every day at the track when we're working at home. Above our toolbox, we have our shop towels. This is from Harbor Freight. They may be taking these off the shelves. I noticed that the refills were on sale and then they didn't have any more refills. You could still buy the whole kit last time I was there. Not as good of a deal if you can't just buy the refills. Lots of other small accessories. Here's a glove holder from Harbor Freight that we use to hold our nitro gloves. I just want to take a second and thank everybody who's been watching these videos. We have been getting a ton of views for a brand new YouTube channel. If you could, please, it would help us out a lot. If you could go down below this video and hit that subscribe button, that'll let you know when we have new videos coming out. We'll keep producing content both on the track karting as well as how we get set up and operate our entire kart program. Here's a sneak peek of what's inside of our toolbox. Up top, we've got a lot of zip ties, some bolts, measuring tapes, small things that we need. And working our way down, here's a whole box full of jets. If we want to change jets, we keep all of our stickers in this drawer, some cotter pins. Here's some of our gears and our keys, spark plugs. Here's all of our tubing for fuel, brakes, and running throttle cables. In this drawer, we've got components for our engines here and for our axles. We've got a whole set of sockets. They jump out a little bit while we're driving. We just put those back in place. Some hammers, some filters, whole lot of clutches. Some other tools, exhaust. This is our tap and die sets, catch cans, O-rings, another set of Allen wrenches, drill bits, screw bits, our plates for our end alignment. That's kind of it in this toolbox. A lot in there. Again, got the toolbox off of Facebook Marketplace. A lot of the stuff in there was either stuff we had or stuff that we found or found on Facebook Marketplace. So we're not buying new stuff. We're spending as little money as we can, and we're trying to scrape this together. Can't say enough about how great these little parts holders are. They're magnetic. Sometimes you can get them free at Harbor Freight with a coupon with any purchase. Every time that comes up, I go ahead and grab one. Just got this one free a couple of weeks ago. But when we're working on stuff on the carts, taking nuts apart, bolts apart, we can just drop them in here and then they just stay no matter what. We can stick this on the axle of the cart. The whole tray stays there. Throw the parts in there. The parts don't end up on the ground and in the grass. And they're right where we expect them to be when we go to put things back together. Let's take a look at the electrical system in this trailer. I've pulled the stuff that's off the shelves below the workbench in the front of the workshop in the trailer so we get a closer look at the system. Let's start with the batteries. This trailer does not run off a generator. This entire trailer runs off of these two 12-volt, 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate batteries that are connected in series. That means they are connected negative to positive and produce 24 volts together. These came off of Amazon. Those batteries go through both a fuse and a switch, as well as a smart shunt that monitors them into this distribution panel. That is this piece right there. And then on the other side of the distribution panel are two charge controllers. These are actually both solar charge controllers, although only one of them is hooked to solar. What you see here is the solar fuse coming from the solar panels on top of the trailer into one of the charge controllers. The other charge controller is actually hooked to a battery bank in the truck that I already had that I used to power the air conditioner and other accessories in the truck. So I can charge this trailer from the truck. Or, I can actually use them both at the same time. So I can be charging from the truck and the solar panels. So those go into the distribution panel and help to maintain the batteries. There are also, from the distribution panel, are direct connections back to the winch and the air condition. This air condition actually runs on DC power directly from these batteries. If we move up, there is an inverter there. That inverter powers all of our AC accessories. So I can use that for all the outlets here to watch TV, to run the Starlink, to charge batteries for our cordless tools, anything we'd want to do with AC power. And that is 1200 watts, which is enough to run a shop vac, is about the limit. There are certainly limitations to what you can do with that much power. What this trailer does not have is any type of direct AC power charging. So it only charges from the truck or from the solar panels. If I have to, I can plug the truck in, charge the batteries in the truck, and use that to charge the trailer. But for the most part, the solar panels actually keep the trailer charged as long as I'm only using it one day at a time and primarily during the day. There have been occasions at night when, during the summer in particular, when we're running the air condition all day long, after the sun goes down, we do get low on power and we have to use the power from the truck to help support the trailer. Here's the view from the top of the trailer. These solar panels came off a house. I got them on Facebook Marketplace. They're relatively new and were in great shape. They were removed from the house when they did a replacement of the roof on that house, and the homeowner decided they weren't going to put them back up. So he listed them and I picked them up, and I'll put the listing on the screen so you can see what I paid for them. I don't remember offhand right now recording the video. They are held onto the top of the trailer with a unistrut and brackets in that unistrut. The unistrut is screwed through the frame of the trailer that supports the roof. So it is not going anywhere. We've driven probably a few thousand miles with this now, and I've checked the bolts a couple of times and everything is securely in place. All the connections and the wiring, and there are individual fuses on those solar panels. All of that came off of Amazon, as well as the kit to connect all those wires. Really wasn't that bad. I am not an expert. I found all the information I needed to do this on the internet. Been doing this for a while. Just really the most important thing is making sure you're properly fusing all of this equipment because safety is the most important thing. Right there, that white thing between the solar panels is, of course, the air conditioner. That 24-volt DC air conditioner cools the workshop on the front of the trailer and does a great job. In South Louisiana, this might be the most important part of the whole trailer. This is our 24-volt DC air condition. Got it off of Amazon. Link in the comments. It runs off of those batteries, and with the sun out, we can run it off the batteries all day long. It will consume electricity at a slightly higher rate than the solar panels will charge the batteries in this trailer. But with the reserve that we start with at the beginning of the day, whole day, we're good. As the sun goes down, we can use additional power from the truck to keep things running. It has done great in here. Know that if you buy one of these, you do have to charge it. Put the refrigerant in it yourself. It is the refrigerant you can buy at any auto parts store, so it's accessible. But you do need to have a vacuum pump to vacuum the system and feel comfortable working with that. This is the second one we've installed. We have one on the camper shell on the truck as well. So we were comfortable doing that, and it has worked out great. It means with it being a DC 24 volt system, we don't need a generator. So things are quiet. It's one less thing we need to bring along. And the sun is always charging our batteries so that we can use this day in, day out. Let's talk about our freezer curtain here. This stuff comes in a roll. This is one of the wider widths it comes in. I think it might be 8 inches for the width on each strip. You cut it to length. We have it here so that we can keep this space in the workshop area of the trailer separate from the space in the back where we load the carts. It helps maybe a little bit with the dust. It gets real dusty in here anyway. But the real reason we have it there is to help keep the coolness from the air condition isolated to this space where it's a small enough space where it can make a difference and it doesn't have to cool the entire trailer. And for that, it actually works really well. And then we can just walk right through that to get from one section to the other. All of the lights in the trailer are running on that 24 volt system. So the lights, so far, the only accessory I have hooked to the switch panel, but we have this switch panel here to help distribute that 24 volt power. So if I hit that switch, the lights go off, but the lights on the panel stay on so we can see in the dark trailer. We can turn the lights back on. These are all individually fused. We walk back here through our curtain, we'll find our winch. The winch is mounted to a piece of 4-inch aluminum angle that is supported on the ends by additional structural pieces that are screwed directly into the trailer frame. We can use this winch to pick up carts, even the heavy mini wedge. We use this winch, especially when I'm by myself, to lift the cart off the ground and can use it to set it on the stand. This winch has a remote control that we don't even have to hook a controller up to it. Winches from Harbor Freight, we'll link it in the comments. Throughout the trailer, we have plugs that run off the inverter. Here's the one that runs the TV, which is stowed right now. There are other ones in the back. We can use these to plug in the Starlink. We use these to plug into our pit lights. And we can plug anything into it that you plug in at your house. We're in the back of the trailer now. Just a few things we have back here. Of course, tables. We usually use one of those to set up by our carts outside to put tools on. We might use a second one to help put snacks or food on. This is a folding cart stand that we always have handy. Either we use it or someone borrows it every weekend. Garbage can, no brainer. And our tent. Now, we did have our tent hanging on the wall on some big hooks. It was just too much weight, especially on longer trips. Eventually, the screws that hold those hooks in would shear off. I probably replaced them a few times. Here's our gas can. We actually built this gas can holder a while back. There's a short I'll link to that you can see how we built that holder. Super simple. This pump is really cool. It's just a battery operated pump that we got off of Amazon. Really makes it nice to not have to pick up that can. It reduces the amount of fuel we spill. And it's really a lot safer. This is a water tank that's battery operated. It uses the same batteries that the battery operated compressor uses that we showed up front. And it just has a hose and a nozzle on it. So we can use this to wash tires, to wash carts, to wash our hands, really for anything. And it really comes in handy. Keeping things organized and stored is really important. This is a simple little rack that we got off of Amazon that holds our ratchet straps. So they're all in one place. We know where they are. They're out of the way. They're not balled up. They're not getting tangled, and they're there when we need them. Let's talk a little bit about this floor. This is like a rubber coin floor. We picked this up on Amazon. It gives us a little bit better grip. It covers the seams in the plywood. And really kind of makes it look a lot better in here. Now, of course, it's super dirty right now. This is only in the cargo storage area. Still trying to think of what we might do up in the workshop area. So if you have any ideas of what kind of floor we should put up there, please leave your ideas in the comments. This trailer and our entire Kart program is a work in progress. We will always be growing, we always have, and we will always be adapting. You should do the same. Start where you are, get a cart, get out there, and have some fun. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week with some more action at the track as the Winter Race Series continues. This will be race number 4, I believe, of the Winter Race Series. We're having a lot of fun. Harper's been doing great. We finally have a cart that I can ride regularly, and Wyatt and I are racing the same class. So we look forward to bringing you more action from the track in just a few days. Thanks. Bye.